Alright guys, as promised, this is the build. The same bleed build, stat stacking with Astra Mentis, Blood Mage. This is the version that I promised from the video before. If you haven't watched the other video where I did the same version but without ES and using Sacred Flame and Alpha, how to get Elemental Conflux and also Trinity. This one is only 154 spirit. The other one is about 280, 290. The only thing we're changing is 1, 2, and 3, 4. These 4 items. Also, I changed out the belt too, just for some max life. So we're using sorry about that. We're using the Wrathpith globe here. I have the plus 12 corruption, 12%. I mean 12% corruption. You can do 10% is fine. It's a lot of damage. Non-channeling spells like Rake, you know, Blood Hunt, stuff like that. And also non-channeling spells 5% more crit chance per 100 health. So you pretty much can have lower crit chance and still be able to crit. I don't think this gets calculated into the crit chance if you look at it. Right now, 98.8%. Everything stays the same. Wouldn't change anything. So we take this out. See, crit chance still stays the same. So it's not calculated yet. So I don't really need to be crit cap here. I literally can use a double spear and be able to, two-socketed 19%, 19.5%, something like that with two-socket. The 2 of these be okay, but I'm using this just with the crit cap. I don't know why. Anyways, this is from my other build. Everything stays the same. The ring stays the same. I'm mirroring this. I definitely could change this ring if I wanted to. I'm sticking with the 1 and 12 with the Hand of Wisdom in action here. And because I'm stat stacking right now. And as you can see, the stats are a little bit higher because we have Crown of Eyes right now. And that gives us plus 14 attributes. And that increases our stats. So it's actually pretty nice. I kind of allocated here 317. So because we're stat stacking, we're taking all the way down here Polymathy and Jackpot Trades. 2% for every 5 of your lowest attribute. So we're trying to balance out our attributes. The lowest attribute we have here is 317. So let's say roughly about 50% for every 100 attribute. So 150 and maybe 155, something like that. All right. There you go. And everything in the trees stays the same generally, except for here. We have to go to Spellblade. We remove some of these 3 here from our evasion build where we're using the heroic armor. Then we're throwing it here. And also, we're putting back these nodes here just so we can get the ES and movement speed, which I really like. And pretty much that's all that really changes when you change the gear. I kept everything the same. Definitely remove this. I don't need the evasion rating anymore. So the 3% compared to the 4%, definitely 4%. I did lose a point here for the magnitude from when I do my weapons slot 2, which are these nodes right here. Per last video, I remember mentioning this node here getting more increased damage for hits an enemy with elemental ailments. This would have to be the weapon set 1 thing. I definitely can sacrifice this right here and put it here. And when I have elemental ailments like the shock, I'll be able to do more hit damage. Look at that. 12% more, 12% more, and also 25%. So that's like 40% right there. And that's a lot. But I like the movement speed. I like the skill speed. I'm sorry, I'm a movement speed guy. So the movement speed didn't change, so you can still map with this. What we did lose out on is we lost out on the elemental conflux, so there's going to be no more Trinity. Everything stays the same. Stormlance stays the same. I did a 5-slot Stormlance this time. This is just not for damage. That's why, this is for shock, adding shock and the ailment onto the boss. So do more damage. Generally with magnitudes and everything like that, you do like 80% more damage. They take 80% to 100% more damage taken. Crazy boss. You can see I bled the boss out without even using Blood Hunt. That's just ridiculously awesome. But with that going into this build is pretty much, all the gems are just crit chance gems. You can do magnitude or bleed gems. Obviously, you can see I don't really need it. I do crit chance and, spell damage scales also. Maximum energy shield is great. I might even switch over just crit and maximum energy shield. Got some accuracy here. We're losing out a lot of these gems where the support gems, because when we use Sacred Flame, you can slot Sacred Flame, these spirit gems in for like more accuracy, cannibalism, and it doesn't cost you any spirit. But I'm really like, I'm using 154 out of 154, and I'm like pretty much like min max. Have my Herald, Combat Frenzy, Wind Dancer, and my Blasphemy, casting my Temporal Chains just for that magnitude to increase their aggravated. I changed this node. Quarter Spike is gone. We are not, we need the Crimson Power. Energy Shield into health. This build is all about health. Okay, we need more health. So that's why we have the ES Shield, the ES chest here. I'm scared to even corrupt this, guys, because like, look, I'm already max. Unless I find another chest that has better. It's tri-res with some health and spirit. I could probably whittle. No, see, if I whittle, it would be the cold res. Um, yeah, the energy shield is attached to the health. I can't touch this. So there's no point of whittling this. I want the res. The res is pretty good right now. Like, I'm balanced in the res right now. I changed out the belt. Yes, I'm losing out on 30% of chaos resist, but it is what it is. So with that being said, you're looking for a belt with health. Remember, see max health. And I changed the boots out for some ES and health and res. Perfect. These boots are perfect for it. Like I said, I wish I can whittle this, but I'm not gonna. I think I might even put in another. See, I can't. I need that fire res there. Keeping with this. So that is the build. With this. In this build, I can swap out this spear with another spear, a 2-socket, 90%, because I'm gonna be crit hitting all the time anyways. With the non-channeling spells, have 5% crit hit chance per 100 health. I mean, per 100 health, I got 3,000 health. That's a lot of crit. So I'll be critting regardless. And Carnal Eyes, of course, increase reductions to spell damage applies to attacks. So anything spell damage, that goes straight into Spell Blade, increasing more spell damage. You're wielding a melee weapon and such. So this build definitely feels a little bit more comfortable. I like the other builds just because I like using all the utilities. I like using all the other, mechanics and stuff like that. But, 1600 ES is comfortable. A lot of health also. This goes up to like 6,500, 300, or 400, something like that health. Very tanky. Crit cap, The other build, definitely great. Very fun, as you saw from, if you haven't watched yet, go back to my last video. It's just a lot of mechanics. You're using Sacred Flame, you're using Alpha Howl, the presence is crazy. Having Elemental Conflux, having Trinity, just boosts the LS damage. Crazy substantial. I mean, LS damage, this gets boosted from, it can get boosted from Lightning Infusion easily, gain 25%. So this would probably go to like 200, 250,000 while you're mapping. I mean, that's plenty. But with like, if I had another 100, I would definitely run Trinity. But to run Trinity, I would have to do a reverse to get the maximum. So I have to have another slot. That's why this is very limited, because of the slot. And Heroic Armor it's just amazing for it. So if I was to use a Heroic Armor, then I have to change this whole setup, because I'm not having ES. So I have to remove this out. And there's no point of having this if I'm not, playing with health. So in that sense, that's why there's two builds differently. I feel like this build is definitely very solid for those that like stat stacking, especially now that Astra Menace is so much cheaper. Play it, I don't know what else to say. This build right here, you'll have to swap anything out. Pretty much bossing to mapping, great movement speed. We're at, 39.7%, which is amazing, at 35% movement speed boots. We're taking this many. I mean, I wish 3% here, 4% here. mean, I wish I could take this, but then I have to sacrifice points somewhere. Maybe when I get overly, maybe since I'm overly crit capped, maybe I don't need a lot of the crit chances. But like I said, maybe I can take the points out of here. But if I take points out of here, there's a lot of crit chance here that I can probably take out of here. And also, this has an increase of non-damaging ailments, for crit hits. So I feel like Stormlands. I can definitely put. No. Oh, I can put ambush in here instead of lightning penetration. See, with this build, I have no way of reducing the penetration, but it doesn't look like it mattered since I just bled them out anyways. But I probably can take out the lightning penetration and put in like ambush for the crit hit. Um, that'd be amazing because then if it crit hits, it gets 30% more magnitude. Anyways, so that's the build. And I'm just going to run a quick map just to show you guys the mapping of this. And also maybe kill a map boss and show you guys the bleed on the map boss. Let's see. Okay, let's do Savannah. We're going to go with whatever. Just going to put whatever in here. And we're just going to run a Savannah real quick. Remember, we don't have any of that, Trinity, Elemental Complex. But let's see what our max damage could be, And the mapping is still great. I'm just gonna go straight for the boss and just show you guys. I don't want to make this video too long. But the ES definitely feels great, a little bit safer. But less mechanics here. And then you don't see a lot of explosiveness on the Steel Breach. $348, not bad. Holy small shamoly. So yeah. So here's the boss. I just want to show a quick boss kill on the map bosses. All the map boss points are in. I'm not gonna even use like yeah, there's no way. I didn't even use Infernal Cry. It's just stupid damage. Min-max at this point. It's just really dumb damage. And yeah, that's the build. As promised, this is the ES version. Yes, only 154 spirit needed. I'm very just make sure you don't put too much of the spirit in here. There's one that costs spirit. There's one that costs spirit at cannibalism, and there's another one, but it's pretty much it really. And as you can see, like the boss just bled out. This is like it doesn't even Citadel boss to be the same tier 4 bosses. And also reminder, you cannot use what's that, heightened curse in here. For some reason, heightened curse increased magnitude of the curse, but it also costs like 30 more spirit. But this is really all I need. I just need to be able to self cast, the blasphemy here. All the slots are filled because I'm mirroring. I definitely can tweak this a little bit more and get more damage. I'm pretty positive sure, but I mean, unbuff 140k LS, 143, It'll be more. If the more health I have, the more damage it is. To be honest with you, because in here, remember, the spell damage per 100 health. So when this doubles, the health pool doubles. This damage goes up. Only usable if you're doing zest like earlier, because you can get the health picking up overflow health. But if you're fighting, bosses that you don't have an overflow, let's say, what's his name? The Mist King for one, Arbiter, any boss that doesn't have any mobs, you're gonna just go in with just that type of health. Um, Maybe I'll do a video on the kill for that, but I'm pretty sure it'll be relatively the same damage. The main thing is weapon set 2 here, switching over and getting that shock, and also, magnitude of shock, all that stuff. All the shock here, magnitude of shock, that increases the boss damage taken. You're not using this for damage. Just get a 6 link. You're perfectly fine. I think I'm gonna take out one of these. This gives another 50% magnitude shock here. Lightning exposure, conduction. I want that. I want that. This is probably one of the things I might remove, but I don't know. I feel like penetrating 30% lightning resistance, given I'm not running Aziz or anything that's reducing resistance. But all in all, it worked out great. Those T4 Zest there. To confirm here, I didn't change anything. T4 Zest. All right, guys, that'll be all for this video. I'll probably do a Moblix for this. I don't know how to do that, but as you can see, I only changed a few items, and it works great. And thanks for watching. I think this is pretty much min-max as it is. And the only thing I have left is a Megalomaniac. I just need like a Megalomaniac that gives me pure power. This is my next thing here. Popping in a Megalomaniac for pure power, and I think this is gonna jack my damage up even more. But I'm trying to find a pure power and maybe some other thing. Maybe pure power and careful assassin. I'm pretty sure that's gonna cost a pretty penny. Or pure power and overexposure would be great. This would be great. But or pure power with breaking point, and I'm not feeling like leveling up again. So if I remove 4% here and take all this out, yeah, I can probably do that and throw points into here for the increased damage affected by ailments. I think that could work. But for another video, thanks guys for watching. And like I said, I just do play this for fun. If you enjoy it, you can subscribe. I'll probably do more videos, hopefully. But other than that, I just like enjoying the game. Unlike other people are complaining about it constantly. But this build, definitely a little expensive. Probably most expensive thing you're going to find is probably the Astra Menace. This, maybe this is cheaper now, I don't know. But I got really lucky with the corrupt for this one. I one time corrupt, boom, 12%. Crown of Eyes, you can get 2 sockets, whatever. I think plus 14 is nice. You get some spirit in here is nice. Definitely don't need a 21.8%. You can do anything lower with 2 sockets. It'd be great because with this you already get crit damage. This was cheap. I got this for 30 chaos, a div something. These rings probably the most expensive thing. Like this ring is probably in the hundreds of divs right here, but I craft this myself. I'm not ever gonna corrupt this. And then Calandras. I might replace Calandras later on if I find a ring better than this to put over here. Maybe a triple stat, triple damage ring if I can get lucky craft. And then I'll be able to kind of balance it out. And I'll have to have more stats. But honestly at 300 something, you're good. Like an increase of 30 stats for each of these, marginal. That means you're getting like maybe another 1 or 2% in attack speed, another one, maybe a few thousand more in damage and ELS from the HOAs, then maybe some more health. But I think in that sense, it's really not worth like giving up, 15% elemental res, and I got triple quad damage here. So yeah, maybe a rarity ring, maybe a high rarity stat or high rarity damage or something like that. I'll take the damage hit and have some rarity. Maybe run this, I have 18 in my boots right now. Maybe run some rarity. I'm not gonna even touch this unless I find something better. And I'm gonna keep that video short. All right, guys, thanks for watching.